We should be live.
Hey, we are. Welcome to episode 298 of Hump Day Hangouts. Just got done throwing a little video post on Facebook, but we are here to answer your digital marketing questions. And if we can't, we will definitely point you in the right direction. So with that said, we're going to say hi to everyone real quick. We got a couple quick announcements, and then we're going to get into the questions. So we'll start with the last person to show up, Hernan. How you doing, man?
Good, man. You put me on the spot.
Oh yeah, always.
It took me a solid like 30, 45 seconds to jump on the call for some reason. So I apologize for that. Really excited to be here. Thank you guys. 298. Wow. That's it's been a ride. So excited to be here.
Yep.
Awesome. Chris, how you doing?
Been good here. I had quite a storm yesterday, so I'm glad this is over. And yeah, today it was back sunny. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
All right, cool. Well, Marco, do you have like a fake lamp on in the background, or what's going on there?
Doesn't it seem that way, man? I'm like, look.
Can you send me one too?
Yeah, for real. It's like the same. It's like the exact same lighting every time. It's a
every week, every time. Look, as I said before, don't hate the player, hate the game you play. That's it. Play it right. And look, I fade off into the light, off into heaven.
I was like, yeah, Marco, not yet. Don't go anywhere. Stay here.
No. There's light at the end of Marco's tunnel.
No fake backgrounds, right? No fake backgrounds. Look, nice. No fake background.
Have you guys noticed, like on the news and stuff, there's a lot, everybody's got the green screen in the back, and oftentimes like you see bubbles of where it's not the simulated. It's funny. It's like, why bother?
No simulator here, man. It's Groundhog Day. Come get some. Go kill a niche, make your money, and come get some. That's how this works. Po-fu.
Speaking of POFU, before I ask Bradley how he's doing, I am going to talk about this in a minute, but we had a couple people take advantage of the early bird special on the POFU live tickets at pofulive.com. It may still be up, although I think I had them take that down. So if you guys want to try, somebody wants to sneak over there and try to snag last minute tickets, or just go ahead and grab them at the discount. But either way, we got some great bonuses going on with that. We'll get into that in a minute. But Bradley, I was going to say your background looks remarkably the same too. How you doing, man?
Yeah, it's always, I used to, if you guys go, I'm good, by the way, but if you guys go way back to the beginning of Hump Day Hangouts, there was always a black curtain like right behind me, and I'm still in the same office space, but I got tired of setting that shit up all the time. So, you know, I don't care. This is, but it's funny. If you go back and look at the old Hump Day Hangouts, my face was like this much bigger. So anyways, I'm good. I'm glad to be here. Sorry I wasn't here last week, guys, but I took the week off. It was a wonderful vacation. And now I'm back and
what
trying
were
to
you
catch
up
up.
to, man? I mean, I don't, people want to know, like, I would think some people might be interested. What were you up to?
I went down to I stayed in Kentucky, but I've got friends that live down in that area of southwestern Virginia, which is kind of like Virginia, Tennessee, West Virginia, and Kentucky all in one spot. And just took the whole week off and went riding ATVs and just hanging out and drinking a lot of beer. And it was fun. It was good. Hotter than hell, but it was good. It was good to get away for a week and seriously unplug, which is what I did. So
nice. Very good. Well, cool. Well, we've got a couple quick announcements, and then we'll jump into it. Just wanted to say, like I mentioned a minute ago, POFU Live, just wanted to let people know about that now. We don't, I don't know, lost my train of thought, so I'm just going to start over. With POFU Live, since it's virtual this year, I don't know where I was going in that first sentence. You know, we understand that you don't have to, you know, figure out plane tickets. You don't have to get a hotel room. It's a lot simpler. But I do want to tell people to make sure that, you know, it is a conference. It's gathering, and there's a lot to be learned. And the more you're able to kind of input, the more you're going to get out of it. So part of that is making sure that, you know, you block that time out, you know, treating it just like you were going to a conference and saying, you know, maybe could you get someone to watch the kids, or make sure that, you know, they're not running around in the office. You don't have calls scheduled, things like that, so that you get the most out of it. Because we got ourselves, which I value my time highly. I value these guys' time highly. We got some amazing guest speakers who are coming in and going to be dropping some bombs. We're going to have some case studies. We got a lot of great stuff. So if you do decide to sign up, I just want to say that, you know, the value is most definitely there, and it's so high that I don't want you to sign up and then realize, oh, I'm kind of busy this weekend and this other stuff happened. Like, don't do that. Make sure that you treat it like a real conference so that you can come in and get just an extreme amount of value out of that. So I won't read you the sales page. You can go check it out and find out all about it. Head over to pofulive.com. If you have any questions about any of the details or anything like that, you can always email us at support@semanticmastery.com. Cool. All right, guys. Other than that, I just wanted to say, Bradley's got a question, or he's clapping. What's going on here?
I was clapping because you did such a good job recovering from the misstep when you first started announcing.
Oh yeah, just like I have no idea what I'm talking about. Where did the sentence go? Anyways, yeah. So the last thing I did want to say too, with mgyb.co, I know a lot of people listening to us and watching already know what it is, but I want, for the people who don't know, head over to mgyb.co. Done for you services, whether you're looking for link building. If you've heard about the SEO Shield, that's where you can get it. If you haven't, that's where you can find out more about it. We got some really good free resources over there as well. There's some best practice webinars about everything from syndication networks to just so much more. And you can find that when you go to mgyb.co. There's a little clickable link called webinars. Go over there, a bunch of really good free training. So head over there. And if you got questions about MGYB stuff, you can ask us here and we'll definitely point you in the right direction. So with that said, guys, anything else we need to cover before we get into it? Nope. All right, let's do it.
Okay, I'm going to grab the screen and I'll cover something very briefly.
Chris is very excited. I like this.
Yeah.
All right. You guys are seeing my screen, correct?
Yep.
Okay, real quick, for those of you that aren't aware of this, 2 weeks ago, I mentioned that I had created a process doc for our methods to make it easier on you guys. So if you want it to, you can, if you don't know what Process Street is, it's process.st. And that's a app that I use for creating process docs for, you know, pretty much everything that I do in my business. That way I can train others. And just have a record of how to do things in case it's something that I don't do very often. So I created a process doc, which you guys can get at semanticmastery.com/process. It's not 100% complete because I was on vacation last week. There's one section that I still need to do, which I'm going to try to get done before next Wednesday, guys, but I'm just going to open this up so you can take a look at this. If you have your own Process Street account, you can import that template in your account and then run checklists from it if you wanted to, or you can just take a look at it and go through what's there in the actual, you know, the process training and everything. But essentially it just talks about what our methods are, and it puts it in the proper sequential order, and it goes into detail as to why we do the things that we do and the way that we do them. It doesn't give you the how to do them, right? Because that's, if you want the how, there's resources linked to in the process doc that you can go purchase our training courses or join one of our groups where we can discuss it. You know, you can learn the actual how, but this does give you the foundation for what our processes are and why we do them the way that we do them. And then it directs you to go to MGYB to purchase the done for you services, or go to purchase the training programs if you want to learn how to do it yourself. So again, I just wanted to point this out, guys. There's a lot of training in here. The website training is the one that I still got to complete, because I'm going to update the silo architecture training that I recorded videos for, I think like way back in like 2014 or 15. But the SEO Power Shield's here, content marketing, which is a rather in-depth module, and in the link building and embeds and all that. So again, just go through there, guys. There's actual training videos in here, step-by-step processes and that kind of stuff. Okay. So again, if you want to download that or import it into your own Process Street account, it's right there, semanticmastery.com/process. Okay. All right, moving on. So it looks like the first question came from user. Hi, I was interested in Content Kingpin and I saw that on this page here, which is our knowledge base. You don't list content, outsource, or local Kingpin. Are these courses older and or unmaintained and or replaced by things in the Heavy Hitter Club or MasterMind? Well, that's a good question. No, the reason why they're not on there is because we had a separate organization called Mastery PR that we had launched those products under that brand name. And so they weren't on that knowledge base page, which could be updated. I don't know, by the way, Adam, if you want to update that page or something, because it's not on here. But anyways, those courses were still produced by us. They were just under a different brand that is no longer, we don't maintain that brand any longer, but the courses are still good. Yes, like Content Kingpin, that's doesn't need to be updated. That those principles are absolutely still valid today. That's all how my bloggers all produce content is through content curation, the same exact method that was taught in Content Kingpin. So you can check that out there. Outsource Kingpin, same thing. Nothing needs to be updated there. It's the same process that we still use to this very day. Every time we need to hire new virtual assistants or employees of any sort. Local Kingpin, it's a bit outdated, but because the interface has changed so much in Google Ads, it used to be AdWords, now it's Google Ads, and the interface has changed. And now Google Ads has got a lot of automated bidding strategies that are a lot better. And in Local Kingpin, I say don't use those at all because it was older. And at the time, the bidding strategies sucked. The automated bidding strategies really were terrible at the time, but they're a lot better now. But as far as the principles behind the alpha beta campaign structure and how to target for local lead gen for Google Ads and get incredibly good results, that still is the same. The concept is still the same. But yes, that course could be updated at some point, although that's not on our priority list. Okay, so just to give you guys a quick heads up, that was a good question. But yes, the Content Kingpin and Outsource Kingpin still 100% valid. So is Local Kingpin, except like I said, the Google Ads interface has changed and automated bidding strategies are actually encouraged now. I would encourage you to use them because they tend to get better results than manual campaign management. So anybody want to comment on that? Moving on. Okay, Kevin G says, is there a way to hide a gsite in SERPs but still benefit from the power of a stack or shield from mgyb? Is there an option to not index a gsite? I can't remember. And if so, I don't know why you wouldn't want it to be in the SERPs anyways.
Those kinds of questions confuse me.
Yeah, me too.
Why wouldn't you want to take up the real estate space when that gsite ranks? I don't understand. And if the client has a problem with it, then it's just that this is how I get results. And why wouldn't you? That you asked the client the same question. Why wouldn't you want to take up extra real estate space? You're funneling any leads that come through the gsite to the client anyway. I mean, I just, to me, that there's no reason for it. Why would you want to hide it unless you want to hide it from the client? And then if you are, then you're not having the right conversation with the client.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't see, we've had a lot of people come in and ask, well, like, is there a way to still benefit by not having them show up in the SERPs? And the way I look at it is, every page or asset or whatever that you can get ranked for a keyword is one less competitor that a Google user is going to see when they perform that search. So I don't understand why you would want to do that. But I mean, there may be a way to do it. We don't suggest it. But if there is, I would just go check the Google site settings. So go to Google site, click manage settings or manage site from the settings menu. And I think there's an option on there to not have it appear, but I don't know. Can't remember off the top of my head because I always just have it index. So in fact, I always submit it to Search Console right after I receive it back from mgyb so that it will index quickly. Okay.
Search Console and analytics.
Yeah.
You want both of that on there. And this way, if it's a client issue, you can show the client just how powerful these things are, the link accrual that it has, and the power that you're pushing over to their website or the link equity that you're pushing. I need a little bit more information because I want to know why you want to be able to hide that gsite or the stack. I want to know why. What's the reason for doing that?
Okay, BB's got a wall of questions here. Okay, we'll try to get through. BB, we'll get through a few of these, but you've got way more questions than what we recommend. And you know this, man. We tell you this. You know this, man. We tell you this every week. And yet you still come in and squeeze in dozens of questions. So we love you though, buddy. So BB says, hey guys, number one, I understood not putting exact match keywords as anchor text to our money site. Well, it's not necessarily the case. I mean, you just, if you know how to do it strategically, then I do it from time to time. So I, you know, yes, we don't recommend link building with exact match anchor text unless you know what you're doing. Let's preface it that way, okay? Because it can help to have some exact match keywords and some variations. And so, you know, I wouldn't say never do it, but anyways, since we teach you guys to build links to your tier 1 assets anyways, it's not as much of an issue to begin with, okay? So anyways, to carry on, I understood not putting exact match keyword as anchor text to our money site, but what if the link came from a press release? Can we put Virginia SEO in a press release? We are eventually claiming that the page created by us. I mean, again, you got to be careful. And remember with the press release, if you use an exact match anchor, it's not the same as if you're doing like a guest post, for example, right? Which would be one article out there with one link with an exact match keyword. If you submit a press release with an exact match keyword, it's going to get picked up by hundreds and republished in hundreds of locations. So now you've got hundreds of backlinks with exact match anchor text pointing directly back to your money site page. I wouldn't recommend that. Now it doesn't mean, and let's see if he's going to call, if this is going to.
Yeah, before you go on,
go ahead.
What I want to tell BB is when we recommend, or when we don't recommend exact match anchor, is for a reason. It's because if we do, somebody somewhere is going to misinterpret what we say, and the very first link building gig that they create will be exact match anchor, and it'll kill everything that they're doing.
That's correct.
That's what happens, and that's why we say, wait a minute. So the suggestion is, which is why Dedhia is so fantastic, you pillow it. It's called, what was it, Becker. Didn't he come up with pillowing your link so that you could hit it with that exact match anchor, and your link profile would be so diversified that it could stand that exact match anchor hit. But if you don't know what you're doing, you don't pillow correctly, and you hit it with that exact match, and you hit it not only with a press release, but with a gig from Dedhia with multiple links with the exact match anchor. Now you're talking about thousands of exact match anchor links going to the website somehow, and you just killed yourself. I mean, that's so easy to pick out. It's so easy for the bot to say, yeah, he's trying to influence rankings for this keyword. No, it's not going to happen. Let's de-index this, and we don't have to worry about it anymore. So in order to avoid that, what we say is don't use your brand, because when you use the brand, then you can include keywords along with the brand. And if you do it one tier off the site, although we call it tier 1, it's actually tier 2, through the gsite and drive stack, then what happens is it amplifies and protects. That's why we call it the SEO power shield. It shields you from the bad stuff, and it powers up the good stuff so that when it gets to your website, you don't have to worry about exact match anchors. You don't have to worry about link profile diversity. You don't have to worry about anything, because we tested just about everything that you can as far as link building to these, and they take it like a champ. They just do. So there's a reason for it. Now, if you're conversant with all of the link building tools, you know how to run GSA, you know how to run RankerX, you know how to run Money Robot, and all of the other tools that are out there, then by all means, have at it. Build that exact match anchor in the right proportions, and you're good to go. Otherwise, don't bother. Talk to Dedhia, come to us, mgyb.co, get a link building gig, and you're going to go much further with that than you probably could yourself. Not only that, your time is worth much more than trying to learn all of these link building tools. This is why we don't do it, because we have other shit to do that makes us much more money. We have a Dedhia. Dedhia is fantastic. Dedhia has a team. Dedhia has a company. Why would we do anything else but Dedhia? I mean, that's what always comes to my head. Anyway, I hope that helped, BB. Good question.
Yeah, and so just to point this out, like for example, the reason I'm showing this is because he mentioned it in his question, but also this is the gsite that I built in 2015. It's horrid, but when I first learned the drive stack, like how to build Google Drive stacks, and it wasn't even built to our specifications today, not even close, because it was my first attempt at one. and I did it manually in 5 hours. So it's not built anything like what we teach or we produce in MGYB anymore. However, after 5 years, because it was in May of 2015 that was published, that site. And after 5 years of it being in #1 position for multiple variations of Virginia SEO, SEO Virginia, Virginia SEO agency, multiple keywords like that, it finally started to slip. This was probably, I don't know, maybe 3 months ago. I happened to notice that it was down from #1 position and where it hadn't moved for, I mean, for 5 damn years, it hadn't moved. And I don't do any link building to it or anything, but it started to slip. And I mentioned it to Marco. I said, hey, I noticed my, Virginia SEO, the Google site had slipped. And so Marco said, yeah, hit it with the press release. And I said, yeah, I'll probably hit it with a link building gig from Dedhia to push it back up again. And what was funny was I was too lazy and too cheap to order a link building gig from Dedhia. So I just submitted one press release through my Press Advantage account, which is the same service we use in MGYB. And I targeted the gsite with an exact match anchor, the link within the press release with an exact match anchor, with the anchor text being Virginia SEO agency. And so I published one press release. This was probably about 2 or 3 weeks after I had noticed that it had slipped. So we're talking about maybe 10 weeks ago. And you can see that Virginia SEO, but remember, this is a Google site, guys. That's different. It's not the same as a money site. So you can see that it's for Virginia SEO agency, it's #1. For SEO Virginia, it looks like it's #2. And I'm talking, guys, it was back down, it was like down around 5, 6, like position 5 to 8 when I noticed it had finally slipped. And then back for Virginia SEO, it's back to #1. And that was from one press release with an exact match anchor. But consider what the target was. It was a Google site. That's why we keep telling you guys to use the SEO Shield and use the gsite and those tier 1 entity assets as your link building targets, because you can do stuff like that and get really, really good results without running the risk of sending over optimized anchor text ratios to direct to your money site. Google sites will take it. Money sites, you have to know what you're doing in order for me to advise even attempting it. Okay, that was a good question though. All right, you say that Dedhia is responsible. We'll read a couple more of these guys and then we'll run through the rest of the questions. We can come back maybe if we have time, okay? It says, you say that Dedhia is responsible to the linking and embed and indexing packages. You also say that he does his magic and has a lot of experience, but what if Dedhia won't be here tomorrow? Do you have any backup? Can you replicate his method by yourself? No, he has a team. He's trained a team of people. He owns his own company with multiple link builders now, and Dedhia manages all of them. So, don't worry about that. We will still be able to provide those services if, God forbid, something were to happen to our one and only Dedhia. Okay. Okay. In the MGYB, there should be a video or course for each package that someone can go and do it by themselves, DIY. What? To teach you how to do all the link building? It takes years of experience, which is why we recommend using Dedhia. And I can tell you right now, none of us are going to create a training course on how to run link building tools, because none of us run link building tools.
And Dedhia isn't going to create a course to compete with himself.
That's right. That's right.
That'd be silly. Now, he has shared his methods in our mastermind. So if you're interested in knowing more, if you're interested in talking to Dedhia and how he does things, he's really good, and he's open and really honest with people in the Semantic Mastery Mastermind and in the Heavy Hitter Club. So if you're interested in learning more about how Dedhia does his thing, then I recommend that you come to one of our groups. In the meantime, you're going to have to learn to, you have to pay for those tools, and you have to learn them on your own, because that's how Dedhia learned them. And I think we all went through that phase of trying to learn those link building tools. And as far as what if, in August of 2015, and I never forget this guy, he said, well, what if Google closes the loophole tomorrow? And my response is always, well, what if the world ended tomorrow? Who the fuck is worried about the world ending tomorrow? I got too much shit to do today. Let tomorrow take care of itself, man. That's my answer to that. Will we have a backup? Well, we can reach out to the team that's working with Dedhia. That'd be my backup. We can reach to another link builder that might be as good as Dedhia, that could get as good as Dedhia. Or we'll just pay someone to train. I mean, come on. It's just not something that we're contemplating right now. And Dedhia, you better not, because if something happens, I'll kill you myself.
Yeah, right. Don't you die or I'll kill you myself. All right, I'm going to answer 3 and 4 right here because they're basically the same question and they're reposted from last week, and then we're moving on. We can come back if we need to, okay? Repost from last week. Should we include breadcrumbs in the pages of the money site? Is the breadcrumb schema helps ranking? Does it help ranking? I don't know. I mean, I like schema. I mean, I like using structured data and breadcrumbs, especially if you're using silo architecture in your site, because it helps to really show that hierarchy of you know, how you have your content stacked within the category or the taxonomy structure, however you're doing it. So I prefer to use them, but you know, a lot of themes and stuff now will actually it's just automatic. But you know, as far as can you use breadcrumb schema without having actual breadcrumbs in the pages, I don't know. Can you do that, Marco? I've not tested that. Typically my themes will show the breadcrumbs and then they will appear in search as well. So I don't know. Can you just add breadcrumb schema without there being like it actually coded into the theme itself?
Yeah, I don't see why you can't add breadcrumbs, but I don't know why you would. And I mean, the effect is probably negligible. I don't see how effective it could be. You have other things that will help your entity way more and will give the bot better data, better information about your entity than breadcrumbs. But since it's code, right? Since we're talking about code can be added to any part of your website. It's JSON, JSON plus LD is what's recommended. As a matter of fact, in breadcrumbs, I know that Google did away with data vocabulary.org markup. And now the one that they want, the one that they'll look at is schema.org markup when it comes to breadcrumbs. So they recommend it. Why not use it? But I mean, as you say, in the theme, it shows up, mark it up, and you're good to go. I don't understand why you would want to not have. See, these questions perplex me. Why would you want to have breadcrumbs in your schema and not have them on your website? I mean, they show up in search as breadcrumbs.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what I like about them, because it shows the hierarchy, like the relationship of where the content is, basically silo structure right within the search engine results. And that's you know, I think that's helpful. So anyway. Okay, Aaron's up. Aaron K says, can you explain the difference between MGYB, General Embed, Service, and Map Embeds? It's the same, Aaron. The difference is, you know, the General Embeds is just so you can embed anything. Anything that you can iframe, you can embed, okay? The reason that we have the maps heavy hitter, the video heavy hitter, what is it, the ID page heavy hitter, is just because some people didn't understand that. So we just created separate products for each one of those, but they're all, it's all basically the same. Whenever you provide your iframes or you submit your order details, it's going to ask you for what the niche or the industry is. And so you provide that, and that's the type of content that will be written, you know, produced, that the embeds will be embedded within, right? So in other words, it goes out on the link building network, which Dedhia has been building that link building network for years. So there's probably well over 1 million problems. In fact, I know there's over 1 million properties now. And so he has networks like sectors, right? So link building networks that are themed for different general themes and then even some more specific themes. And so when you put your industry in there, when you submit your order details, that's the type of content that will get produced. Then your embeds get embedded within that content. So there's relevancy. Does that make sense? And so the difference between the map embeds, the video embeds and all that is no different. It's the same link building networks that get, but it's just so that it made it less confusing for customers when they say, well, which one do I do? You just pick which one is the most relevant to you. It really doesn't matter. If you're going to be embedding multiple things, which you can do, by the way. Like, for example, you can embed you can order an embed gig and use the general embed gig service in MGYB, for example, and embed an MGYB, an ID page, gsite page if you want, your GMB map if you want, and a YouTube video or YouTube playlist, right? You can embed all of those things because you can put up to 5 iframes in the order. So my point is, it really doesn't matter. Okay.
Yeah, we tried not to confuse people. So video embed gigs are for videos. Map embed gigs are for maps. And the general is multi-purpose for everything else. This is just, I don't want people confused. I don't want them to have to go and say, oh, okay, now what do I do? If you have a video, use the video embed. If you have a map, whether it's a mind map, a GMB map, or any other type of map that you can embed, then use that network or use the general. Yeah, so everything is specified right there. And the ad ID page. Sorry, I forgot about the.
Yeah, and like I said, I typically just order the general because I know they're all basically the same anyways. And because I generally have more than just one embed, so I just order the general. That's just the way I do it. So, but yeah, it was strict. It was purely to make it less confusing because we get that types of questions, and unfortunately, it still hasn't been very clear. So it's a work in progress, guys. We're still working on stuff. So, Social Buzzme, that's Wayne. Wayne says, Bradley, isn't Southern Virginia where the world's largest nudist colony is located? Yeah, have you ever seen nudists riding ATVs? Would you like to? I'm kidding. That would be awful, especially as hot as it is outside.
How hard is that going to be to get that thought out of your head today?
Well,
a sweaty, fat, sweaty nudist riding an ATV. Thanks, Wayne.
Funny. That's funny. Okay. Next, any new tricks you can share to rank YouTube videos faster? I can tell you.
Wait. You missed the shout out. You missed the shout out. Someone shouted out MGYB. Right after Wayne.
Oh, Roxy. I'm sorry. I totally missed it. MGYB packages are the best.
Say it again.
MGYB packages are the best.
You know it. You know it.
Thank you, Roxy.
Now, one more time with some meaning. No, just kidding.
MGYB
packages are the fucking best.
Period.
Oh, I should have recorded that. Oh, I guess we do have it recorded. Great.
All right. So Roxy asked another question. Any new tricks you can share to rank YouTube videos faster? Okay. The same tricks that I've been using now for like the last 3 years. I really stopped doing video SEO other than I live stream videos. Not always, but most of the time I will take even a pre-recorded video. I'll run it through OBS Studio so that I can live stream it into the channel, a pre-recorded video, right? So, and I always have all of my YouTube channels where I attempt, well, I really, like I said, I really don't even care about doing YouTube SEO anymore just because I use YouTube ads primarily for driving traffic with YouTube stuff. But that's the trick that I was getting at. All of the channels that I would use for SEO purposes, for YouTube SEO purposes, are going to have a multi-tiered syndication network, at least one, but usually many. So years ago, when I was doing a ton of YouTube SEO stuff, if I was going to start a new channel that I was going to be aggressive with for marketing purposes, whether it was affiliate stuff, which I don't do anymore, or local stuff, which I still do today, and that's pretty much all I do, I would always start with 3 2-tier networks, so full 2-tier networks attached to the channel. Right. So there'd be one branded ring, and then the rest of them can all be persona based rings or theme based rings. But that's just what I would always do. And I would would have a total of, remember, there's 4 syndication network rings, or essentially within each 2-tiered network. So I would always do 3. Right. So that would be a total of 12 networks. And then I would do link building to the networks, not all at once, because that would be super expensive. But I would do it over time, and I would basically build the authority of those networks. And that worked really, really well. But YouTube has shifted more towards engagement signals as being a ranking factor. Don't get me wrong. I know other people are going to say, well, you can still rank video with SEO. Of course you can. But what I'm saying is if you can do a combination of SEO tactics as well as engagement tactics, that's how you can rank videos. And that's all I do now. So I have aged channels out there that I still use for video stuff that have syndication networks that have been operating for years. So they're well themed, they're older and established. They've been authority built to them from link building over the years and everything else. And I'll still push a video out through that, let it cascade through the syndication networks. But then I immediately set up a YouTube ads campaign. And it's just for views, guys. You can buy views directly from Google Ads. It's the only legit way to buy views. If you're buying spam views, by the way, that can get your account terminated. They typically don't work. I don't ever recommend doing that, but you can buy YouTube views directly from Google Ads, and it's very, very inexpensive, and it's very, very effective, especially if you set your audience targeting correctly. For example, if it's a local video, you set your geographic targeting to where the video is only showing to people within a specific radius or within a specific county or whatever. So like, let's say it's a 20-mile radius from wherever the business is located. that means all of the views that you're going to be buying from Google are going to be coming from local IPs, local to where the business is located, local to that search term. Does that make sense? So those are really, really good engagement signals. And if you're buying audience, if you're buying views from a specific audience, what I always recommend is looking at in-market audiences or life event audiences, or what's called custom intent audiences. So if you can't find a pre-made audience in market audiences or life event audiences in Google Ads for video, then you can create what's called a custom intent audience. And you can create your own custom intent audience. So a bucket of people, essentially Google users, that meet a specific criteria. So again, geographic targeting and audience targeting, that works incredibly well. However, I do want to say one other thing. One of my tree care projects that I've been sharing in the MasterMind, I created a kind of a case study for trying to rank a single page website that was not part of the entity. I was trying to rank it specifically with just Google Ads, limited SEO, and just traffic from Google Ads. And so it was a ClickFunnels landing page. But I had a video created for that ClickFunnels landing page. And so I was running YouTube ads to that video. I didn't do any SEO to the video. In fact, it was on a new channel that didn't have syndication networks at all. So there was no link building done to the video or anything else. But I'd been running ads to it for, I don't know, 6 or 8 weeks, something like that. So it had, I think, over 4,000 views from a local geographic area, again, from an audience, custom intent audience that I created for people looking for tree services, landscaping services, so highly related services. But over the course of those like 8 to 10 weeks, I'd been running ads to it for like roughly 8 weeks. It got, I don't know, like I said, 4,000 views, maybe 6,000 views, whatever it is. But the video wasn't ranking. And it was okay because I was really doing, the test was for, it was really to try to rank the ClickFunnels page with just traffic. But long story short, I used that same video in a press release, the same press releases that we sell at MGYB, so through Press Advantage. And I added the video to a press release so that it would become an embed, and did one press release with it. And now that video is ranking on page 1 for the brand search, which it hadn't been for all that time. So press releases are also a good way. But like we just talked about over at MGYB, embeds, you can go to, embeds are great. Link building to the pages that it's embedded on. So if you buy an embed gig, that's the same as going through a syndication network, because it will get embedded in themed content. Then you can buy the upgrade or as part of the order. If on the next page, once you complete the order, you can buy link building for a discount, right? And link building to the embeds, that adds relevancy. And then, like I said, you're going to put a video link into a press release, and it'll get picked up and republished across all the press, or not all of them, but a significant portion of the press release distribution sites. And then also, lastly, like I said, set up traffic gigs from Google Ads. Very, very inexpensive, guys. You can get away with it for, I always start with $1 a day. That's $30 a month in Google Ads. But once I start getting traffic to the video, then I start peeling it back. And I got campaigns out there that I've been running for clients that their videos are still ranked today on the first page of Google for whatever their keywords are, that I'm running on 40 cents a day. Think about that. That's $12 per month. And I charge that particular client $100 a month to rank videos. For every keyword is $100 per month. And I maintain it with 40 cents per day in Google ad spend, right? Which is $12 a month. So that's really good return on investment, if I should say so. So anyways, anybody have any other tricks?
Yeah, so I got a really good testimonial in the RYS Academy Reloaded group in Facebook. It's from Keith Mallinson. He's been around us, quite a while, both I think in our Semantic Mastery Mastermind and in RYS Academy Reloaded. And I'm gonna read it just so you guys know what the power that you guys have in your hands. Because I never doubted Marco when he said that embeds work to get you traffic, but I must admit I was surprised at the results. I purchased some RYS stack embeds. So he went and embedded his properties, right? He purchased that through MGYB, and it was about a month ago. Then he went to Fiverr, which I don't recommend. I highly recommend Dedhia, but if you're on a strict budget, you do what you got to do, because it's protected by the Power Shield anyway. So listen, he went and got a GSA, a GSA gig from Fiverr and threw it at the embeds. Then he checked it just recently. I got this 3 days ago. He checked it and the traffic had jumped 89% over a 30-day period.
Wow.
Compared to the previous 30 days. He is now buying more embeds from mgyb. There you go. If you want this post, I can take a screenshot with Keith's, I mentioned his name, sorry. With Keith's permission and post it in the free site so you can have a look at it, BB, or I'm sorry, whoever is asking this question.
Roxy.
Roxy, this shit works. I keep telling you guys, my shit works. And it works the way that Bradley says, by engagement. And as a matter of fact, totally recommended method, because you're sending Google signals from Google.
Yep.
With people that Google is sending. So those signals are fantastic, especially if you can get the person to convert on any of your goals. If they follow through and go to your website and they happen to give you the information, that's gold on your website, is gold on your video. You're also showing signals on the video as far as how long that you can keep them, because watch time is really important. But that shows relevance, right? If the person clicks on your ad, they go to the video, they watch the video, they stay through to the end or almost the end, those are great signals for the video. And a person who's interested in this to start with is likely to watch your entire video, but that's up to you. And whether your video is engaging enough to keep that person interested all the way through. So it really has to do with the video, the length of time, how many people see it, and how many people follow through with whatever. There's a ton of signals, or you can just brute force the fucker like Keith did, and both of these methods work, and they work like crazy.
Adam, I don't know if you are still lurking in the background, but do we sell the YouTube ads for local video ranking course separately?
I forget exactly how we did that, but yeah, if they want to email support@semanticmastery.com, I think Chris G can hook them up. There's a kind of backdoor access. Yeah.
Well, there you go, Roxy. If you want to, I created a training course specifically for what I was talking about, for using Google Ads to augment any SEO that you're doing for ranking videos, especially local videos. And there's a course that I created for that. We typically use that as a part of a funnel or an order bump or something like that. But if you contact support@semanticmastery.com and ask for it, we'll give you an option to purchase it there. And it's not an expensive course, guys, but it's really, really effective. Okay, BB's up again. Wow, we still got questions to get back to him. What is the new Wiki Link package all about? Is it a single link only? Yes, as far as I'm aware. I actually haven't even tested that yet. I've been meaning to, but I haven't. Marco, can you talk a little bit about that?
Single link, relevant. I don't
From
know
Wiki.
how much. Yeah,
from Wikipedia.
yeah.
So that's he says, is a Wiki Link more harder than building an IFTTT branded network? Yeah. The problem with Wiki Links is it's highly moderated. So Wikipedia is highly moderated. So if you go in and try to make an edit or something like that, it will typically get removed. And there's so this is a service where we can actually get you a link from Wikipedia. So
it's apples and oranges that he's comparing.
Yeah.
One thing is building a syndication network that takes a VA a certain amount of time. They have to create all of the profiles, fill them out, whatever. The Wiki Link, someone actually has to go in and get it to stick.
Yeah.
Have you tried recently to get a Wiki Link just an edit? These people guard their pages like they're better than a Rottweiler, man.
Yeah.
These people, they take their stuff seriously. So if you don't know what you're doing, if you haven't been in there long enough to know what you're doing, or if you mess in somebody's backyard, it doesn't stick. We can for the most part, and we'll even guarantee it for 30 days, we can get them to stick. So you're talking two way different things, and why the cost, it's not a good comparison, and it's not a fair comparison, because they both have their complexities and their difficulties. And we've priced it at a level where we think we're competitive and where we think it won't hurt people's pockets. So we take all that into consideration.
Sweet. So let's see, how much of an effect is that for that one link? It's going to vary, BB. It's going to vary, but it's a powerful link. That's for damn sure. So, okay. Riggy Bobby. I love that. Hello. I love the process street file. I can't wait to dig through it. I just got my keyword research back and was told that I need to filter it and send the filtered set back to have it submitted to the system. What exactly should I be filtering? Keywords that don't, yeah, filter out any non-relevant keywords. Because remember the keyword research, it's like a big wide net that gets cast. And then, so there's going to be terms in there that aren't going to be specifically, that they're related to the theme, but they may not be relevant to your project. Does that make sense? So go through it, and you want, you have to, there's still a little bit of a manual process, but I mean, it literally takes 3 working days to develop those keyword research files, guys. So when you get it back, if you have to spend an hour going through it to eliminate or delete the keywords that are not relevant to your project, then, you've saved yourself 3 days worth of work for just having to put in an hour. So that's, I think, what it was referring to. Is that right, Marco?
Yeah, but having said that, don't eliminate too many keywords that you think may not be relevant to the project, because these are still, they are non-commercial and they're related. They're so somehow they're being seen as relevant. So whether there's a semantic relevance, we're in the semantic web, and it doesn't matter if it's 2 or 3 hops out where that relevance takes place, or, man, I always forget what that's called, where the 2 words, where you find the co-occurrence of these 2 words. Somewhere on the web, there's a co-occurrence, which is why that word was brought back with your main keyword. You don't want to get rid of all of that, because that's important for the bot. That's important for all of that semantic relevance that you're trying to create, which you define at the entity level through the schema on your website. That's where you want those strict definitions. But outside of that, for link building and for everything else that you're doing, embeds, the ad ID page, the drive stack and gsite, you want as many keywords that are relevant as you can get.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, let's see. Keywords that don't, I purchased the keyword research, basic SEO Shield, and then link building. Yeah, and that's, I agree. I'm glad Marco clarified that, because, like, for example, for link building, I take the 200, a minimum of 200 most relevant keywords to my project. But like Marco said, it's still good to have those other keywords, because they're related to that keyword theme anyways, right? To that set, to that topical theme is what I'm saying. So it is good to have them. Now, when it comes to, link building, or for like the drive stack, for when you order the drive stack, I always put my top primary keywords at the top of the keyword list that gets submitted, because those are the ones that are going to get used for the drive stack build, right? So anyways, just kind of want to clarify that. Ricky says, I sort of spoke about this last week, but I think it's a good idea and potentially a service for you to capitalize on. Would be to have a survey or one-on-one 30-minute consult to discuss what someone should do based on the client they have. I'd be willing to pay someone to know exactly what to buy and what to do in order. The process you have now, might do the trick, but I haven't gone through it yet. Yeah, I mean, the process is the same. It really doesn't matter. I may not be 100% clear on this, but the processes and the sequence in which you order things are going to be the same. Obviously, the keywords are going to be different, but that's up to you to determine, how you're going, what the most relevant keywords are for your project and everything else. But it doesn't matter whether it's local, national, global, affiliate. The process is going to be the same, right? And the sequence in which you put the pieces together, which is explained or described in the process street doc that I just shared with you guys here, right? Again, I've still got to cover the website stuff, and obviously there's intricacies to all of that, but the process is going to be the same no matter what type of project you're on, and pretty much the sequence of putting those pieces together is the same as well. You want to comment on that?
Yeah, we all have private consultation. We all do it. We give them, our mastermind members, our new mastermind members, a 30-minute consultation to get them. What I like to do is just get them on the right track, make sure that they're going the right way. If they have any questions initially, and a lot of times it turns out, okay, what should I do? And okay, do this, that, and you give them a quick process on how to start it. But that's, I mean, we give them those 30 minutes. that one-on-one 30-minute consultation. They get that as a new mastermind member. Otherwise, I mean, I don't know how you guys set it up. I've set it up through my Facebook page. But I mean, unless you have the budget for it, don't contact me because I'm expensive when it comes to one-on-one consultation. You can there's also a way to contact us through the Semantic Mastery page, isn't there? Or Chris Greenhow at support for one-on-one consultation. Our prices vary, guys. I mean, each one of us charges differently simply because we have different levels of expertise, experience, different places where we're experts at. So it varies.
That's a good point, Marco. Thank you. Because Ricky, yeah, I mean, just come join the mastermind, and you can ask us questions directly inside the mastermind. We each do our own mastermind webinars now. We each do 2 webinars per month. My mastermind webinars are usually an hour and a half to 2 hours long, and every other Thursday. Marco's are on the other Thursdays. You can ask us questions directly in the mastermind webinars. You can ask us questions on your 30-minute onboarding call when you first join. So that it's actually cheaper to join the mastermind for a month than it is to order 30 minutes of consulting on the side, if that makes sense. And you get access to all of us that way for the amount of time that you're in the mastermind. So that might be your best bet, Ricky, is to jump in.
And my mastermind webinar is literally ask me anything.
Yep.
So if you come in and you ask me questions about what you should do, I'm going to answer the questions that you have about what you should do. But we reserve that, I'm sorry, for our paying members. Why? Because membership has its privileges.
Amen.
Ask our members.
Amen. Yeah, we've got a couple of guys, newer guys into the mastermind that have been asking a bunch of questions recently in the mastermind, on my mastermind webinars, that I've been happy to go through, bunches of questions that they have. And that's what we're here for. I mean, that's what we're there for in the mastermind. That's what it's for. Like, you can ask us anything in there, and we'll go balls deep, so to speak. and just about any question that you want. We'll analyze your site, we'll provide audits and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, moving on. The next question was from Pablo. He says, "Hey guys, thanks for all you're doing. I have a couple of questions. One, I need to push power to the money site city pages. Better to iframe all post to gsite and then order link building to gsite, or build links to some other properties. My goal is to cover all city pages on the money site." Okay, I talked about this a lot recently. I'll try to go through this very quickly. And if you go back to the previous masterminds, not last week, I wasn't here, but either probably the week before that and the one before that as well, because I know I've covered this multiple times in the last month or two. But what I like to do is, again, yes, you want to theme mirror your pages from your money site onto your G site. So if you have individual city pages or posts, it can be either one, it doesn't matter, that are optimized for the keyword plus city, then put those in your G site as well. What I recommend though is if you got proper silo architecture on your money site, which you should, then you create that same, you mirror that same architecture on the G site. So if you have posts as city, optimized for keyword plus city, and they're within a specific category, for example, then I would have the category page mirrored on the G site, and then you create child pages on the G site where you would embed in a one-to-one ratio of page from the money site page to the G site, or post from the money site page on the G site, because there are no posts on the G site. That makes sense. But you can create the silo structure by creating the child pages within the G site. That makes sense, right? And you would create the additional pages on the G site. You just embed it in there. You don't need to create any additional content, guys. You just iframe the site page from your money site right into the G site page. Okay. And then, yes, you can order link building gigs to that. Something else you can do is if you're blogging from your syndication network or from your money site to your syndication network, you can extract the post URLs from the syndication network, right? So those posts that you're using to optimize a particular silo or keyword or whatever, you can go out and extract those URLs from your Web 2.0 properties, even if you just did the 3 blog properties. So Blogger, Tumblr, WordPress. Now you've got those URLs that you can also build links directly to, right? That are, if you know how to build links from within your blog post to your money site pages or the pages that you're trying to rank on your site, that's what the blogging is for. Targeting long tails, right, of whatever keyword is that you're trying to rank for within the blog post, and you link from within the blog post to that money site page that you're trying to rank. So you do that you consistently over time with as many keywords, as many posts, supporting posts as you need to get the results that you want. Well, now you've got all those posts that you can extract, the post URLs you can extract from your Web 2.0 properties that you can build links directly to. You can also embed those in the same gsite, the mirrored pages on the gsite, so that you have all that relevancy and all those properties, right? We talk about iframe stacking all the time. So that's a number of ways that you can do it. Again, press releases are also another great way. I love using press releases to promote blog posts. So I like to publish blog posts and then have press release written to announce or to highlight, to spotlight the blog post. Now you've got additional content, and it's long form content. I love the press releases from Press Advantage and mgyb because there's, you know, 700 to 800 words ish that are, you know, it's really relevant, and you can use those. You can iframe those now. And so that's additional content. By the way, you can also grab the RSS feed from the organization in Press Advantage for whatever the company is. And you can use that to also trigger your syndication network, which I highly recommend, because those are very, very powerful. Those press releases can now get syndicated, and they appear beautifully across the syndication network by just creating an additional set of applets in your syndication network with your Press Advantage organization feed. Does that make sense? So that's, I mean, that's what I do. That's specifically how I do it, is everything through the gsite. And then also you can order the drive stack expansion from mgyb, which will also mirror that same silo structure for whatever category it is that you're trying to rank in your drive stack, and they'll create the actual gsite page on your gsite if you want. So that's how I do it. You want to comment on that, Marco?
No, that was good.
Okay. When I'm doing a blog post on Money Site, the links from the post should be directed to one silo. Yeah, well, whatever silo the post is within, right? So the post is always going to be placed in a category. That's the silo. Whatever silo it's in, you want to make sure that you're linking from within the post back up to the top of silo page or the previous post within that silo, whatever. But you just don't want to cross-link outside of that silo to other silos on the site. You can do it if it makes sense for the reader. So basically for user interface. But do it with a no follow link. In other words, if you're going to be linking outside of the silo itself, it's okay to do that for navigational purposes, but no follow that link within the post. But any link that you're going to do within the, the content body of that post should be going to another post within that same silo, or the top level, the top of silo page, for example, a silo landing page. Does that make sense? So you always want to think about pushing relevancy through it, right? Because that's what Network Empire created, this coined the term called buoyancy, right? They applied that term. So if you have your silo built correctly, your keywords, your content stacked correctly within the silo, and you do your internal linking properly, then you're going to create buoyancy for that entire silo, and all of the keywords within that silo will start to rise in the search results. Okay, great question, by the way. All right, we're almost out of time. Ricky Bobby says, I wasn't necessarily saying it needed to be you guys doing that consultation for what to buy. I am new to you guys and obviously don't mind spending money, but I'm a little confused on everything that you guys sell and when to use them. Oh, I see what you're saying. So perhaps, and we've talked about actually having, in the coming months, or hiring somebody that can literally do one-on-one consultations. It was primarily for MasterMind members, but that might be something that if we implement that could be done on a, consultation basis for mgyb as well. That's not a bad idea, actually, Ricky. So thank you. Ricky says, thanks, guys. Always appreciate the time. You're welcome. Aaron says, is there any way to set up RSS feed from a gsite? Is it possible to use an RSS from a gsite to IFTTT? I've not done that, but Marco, is there an RSS site from, or an RSS feed from the gsite?
Of course there is.
Okay.
Of course. Announcement pages. It's in the training.
Okay. Well, I've not actually used that to trigger. The reason why I wouldn't want to do that is because the script that we run rebuilds that announcement page all the time, which you could overpopulate your network very quickly that way. Am I right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's that, Aaron, if that doesn't make sense to you, the announcement page. So when you buy a drive stack from us, it's going to come back with the announcement page, which is it's run by a Google script that will essentially rebuild the announcement page with all the files and everything. It will rebuild it on a schedule, whatever that interval is, it will rebuild it at that interval consistently. And the problem with using, that's probably why I've never done it, is because if you were to use that RSS feed and have that script running, then every time the script would run, it would spit out a whole bunch of posts onto your syndication network, which could trigger suspensions for syndication network properties for over posting, high frequency of posting. And they're going to be a lot of the, rebuilt posts. It's great for the gsite. Don't get me wrong. The announcement pages are part of the reason why they rank so well, because it's constantly bringing the bots back to crawl it. But I don't know that that's why I have not used them, is because whenever that script runs and it rebuilds all of those pages, it can end up overpopulating your syndication network and getting them terminated. Okay. And that's not a good thing. 5 o'clock on the money. You guys are awesome. Thanks for sticking around, guys. We'll see you all next week.
Bye, everybody.
Yep.